Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Attractions Group podcast. This week, David and I are going to be talking about the trip I just went on. We called it the Southeast Slammer. And we're going to be talking about some of those parks in particular and about how to go about getting ready for a theme park trip, a theme park adventure. Welcome to the Attractions Group podcast.
Hey,
How's it
Clete,
going?
how's it going?
Great.
It's going
Of course,
great.
it's going great. I love to
Yes.
hear it.
It's
Love to
been a
hear
while.
it.
It's been a minute or two.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. How's life?
Life is pretty good. Not too awful. Can't complain. Uh, we're recording at a different time. People my age like to go to bed around this. Actually, that's a lie. I don't go to bed this time. But anyway, we had to work around your schedule because you've been a little bit out of the area, gone somewhere, gone to do a thing, and really, I actually am looking forward to hearing some of what transpired.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess let's get right into it then. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I'm,
went.
I'm going to apologize up front because, as we see, I'm in my old dig search means I have a bad upload speed. So we're just going to deal with the me talking, and it's like you're going to be in a poorly translated Oriental film, for lack of a better.
Okay.
That's a joke from the '80s. I don't know if it's still relevant or not, but anyway.
But yes, yeah. I started. I obviously live in Orlando, so I started here, and I drove up last Sunday, so like 2 weeks ago yesterday. Today's Monday when you're watching this.
Okay.
2 weeks ago yesterday, I drove to Richmond, Virginia. That's all I did all day. I stopped at a Buc-ee's, of course. Don would have been proud.
Only one.
Yeah, just one. I couldn't, but I stopped a lot. I have a very small gas tank in my car, but only one Buc-ee's made the cut. And that was the beginning of the trip. So the premise of the trip was basically to go from Washington, D.C. back down to Orlando and hit some parks up along the way. So had to get to D.C. first. So I drove to Richmond, stayed in Richmond. The next day we went to Six Flags America because that's closing.
Swan song. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say it was so dead. Like the first thing we rode was I'm
Hmm.
gonna butcher the name. What used to be Mind Eraser, the Doctor something or other. Yeah, uh,
the doctor thing.
yeah, I have no idea. They're Vekoma SLC. We went. There was nobody on the ride. There were 3 ride operators in the station. There were no people in the station. There was no one in that whole area of the park. Like the number of visitors was legitimately borderline scary low. So I guess
So with that, I'll raise my hand when I'm gonna, so we get that lag time down. But is it? Do you think it's just a general guest apathy? The park's closing, so we don't care, and we're not going to go. Is that
I think a little bit, yeah. I also think there's the on the flip side of it, it's the like kind of the park apathy. They were only open till 7 because they they're probably thinking, well, how much money are we really going to make in those last 3 hours? And all these things. So
right?
I think it's kind of a two-way street. They had a lot of advertising still up from 2023. Like 2023 holiday in the park. That was a sign that I saw. I was like, wow, that's that's rough. But
Mhm.
it's a great. I mean, it's a fun park. Like Six Flags America is a good facility. It's got good. They've got fun rides. And they have no lines. The day after we went, they actually announced that they're not going to be staying open until November. They're going to close on September 2nd now. They're not doing their Halloween event. But then about a week after that, they announced that they're not closing in September, but in fact October. So we found the happy medium. So you've got about 2 months to make it to Six Flags America ever. And you should,
Hmm.
because it's a great place.
So if you were to
Yes.
pick any rides that get parted out to the other parks, what do you think? Now I'm not familiar with that park at all, really, other by name and a handful of rides I've seen, maybe a couple of roller coasters. What do you think we're going to find in other Six Flags parks next year?
Yeah, I think for the one thing they're definitely relocating is the trains for, well, honestly, all the rides. They have the trains for Superman will be, they're pretty much brand new, and they are the same as, they'll obviously be compatible with the track of the Superman the Ride, or Superman, or sorry, just Ride of Steel, not Superman Ride of Steel, at Darien Lake. So I would say those trains will get moved to Darien Lake. That'll refresh the experience for that ride at Darien Lake, make it a little smoother, a little more enjoyable for people. The trains of Joker's Jinx, which is an outdoor version of Flight of Fear, that'll get moved
Okay.
either to Poltergeist at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, or to Flight of Fear down the road at King's Dominion or in Cincinnati. The trains, I think for sure on those two, and their Vekoma SLC with that Doctor whatever that has the vest restraints, which some of the SLCs in the chain, like Kong at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, does not
Mhm.
have. So I could see those getting moved too. But the ride itself for both of those three, Joker, Shank, Superman, and their SLC, they're getting scrapped. Superman is a good ride that shouldn't get scrapped, but it just sits on such a big and unique plot of land that it seems pretty difficult to try to figure out a place where it could go. But I hope they do. Their
What about any flat
other
rides?
thing that, yeah, their flat rides will, there'll be some that'll get, they have a set of Larson scooters. Somebody will take them. They have
Mhm.
a wild mouse, spinning mouse. That's already been relocated once. It was originally at Great America. That'll get moved somewhere. They have Kitty Coaster, Zamperla. That'll get moved somewhere. I do anticipate, though, if the park looks at like a Larson Flying Scooters and says, well, we already have these at 35 out of our 40 parks. Let's just sell them. I could see
Yeah.
that happening as well. So we'll see.
Still unfortunate
The
to see a park close.
Yeah. Oh gosh, of course. But I'm excited for the the way the money from that land sale is going to help the chain. I think it'll be a very good thing.
Is there someone already lined up to buy it?
Yeah, but Prince George's County is just, there are so many people that live there and so many people that want to live there that can't. The DC metro area is like, people just keep commuting from further and further away because there's not enough
Mhm.
housing. So it'll get sold to a real estate development company, and it'll get turned into single family housing, maybe to a couple of apartment buildings, a couple of condos, but I think mostly single family. There's 500 acres there. There's a lot of room to build a
Wow.
lot of
Nice.
houses.
So,
Yeah.
how many parks did you make it to?
All in all, we made it to 15. 15 parks.
Wow. We're going to have to budget our time
Yeah.
on this, Clete. Clete.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So let's keep going. Our next day we
All
went
right.
to Busch Gardens Williamsburg,
All right.
and Busch Gardens
Love it.
Williamsburg is, wow, so pretty, so beautiful. I mean, you've heard it all before. Everyone knows it's got the reputation for just being just a great experience, and it really is.
Mhm.
But on the attractions group side of things, the attractions professional perspective of Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I must say, they have a really interesting thing going on there. It's almost like the Las Vegas model. My ticket,
Okay.
well, I have the SeaWorld Unlimited pass because I live in Orlando, so it makes a lot of sense for down here. So I get all the parks.
No, you've said
Um,
that a couple times.
yeah. um, but if you want to buy a ticket, a 1 day ticket for Busch Gardens Williamsburg, it's like $50 for a park of that caliber. That's not bad. It's like, I think,
That's not bad at
46.
all.
Not, I mean, that's a pretty cheap ticket. And then you go to eat food there, and you start to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
It was, I had, there were four of us there. We went to a barbecue place. It was so expensive. We were like, we're going to eat after the park. Like, we'll split two meals. So we each got like a rack of ribs. Well, it wasn't a rack. It was like, a half rack that comes with the meal.
Right.
It was for two of these meals to split between the four of us and two fountain drinks. It was $75. Uh,
Wow.
I just I couldn't even believe it, and I like yeah I don't that was the most expensive theme park food I've ever eaten. It was Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It is crazy. The merch is the
Okay,
same
but rate
way.
it. Scale of 1 to 10. How was the food?
Um, honestly, it was probably a 7. But when I was
Okay.
tasting it, it was only a 5 because I had just paid 75.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, now I
It
remember a
was
number
good.
of
It was
years
great
ago
ride.
we went to SeaWorld in Orlando, and we got their meal plan during the day, which I believe you can get like any food, any kind of a entree every 90 minutes. I think is what it may still be the deal. I don't remember, but the food is pretty good. Yeah, I don't remember what we paid for. I'm sure for a family of four, we probably dropped a few bucks on that. But I do remember the food being pretty good and really being upset that we left money on the table because we didn't eat literally every 90 minutes. But yeah, I remember being, and of course, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, and they're kind of all together in the thing there. And so I would assume that the food is pretty consistent across the board. So yeah, I kind of remember being at 7 or 8. So it's
Yeah.
a premium experience.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was good. I only had one meal in the park because it was so expensive, but there were some places that looked appetizing, looked like I wanted to try, from some kind of, more eclectic restaurants since they have the
Hmm.
whole Europe theme going on. The day after Busch Gardens Williamsburg, we went to, of course, King's Dominion, where we did not get to ride. Yeah.
Before we get off of Busch Gardens, top three rides there, including roller coasters. Top three.
Pantheon, of course.
Okay.
Alpengeist. If you're like a coaster, like a real, hardcore coaster fan,
Yeah.
you love it. Alpengeist is like a car accident. It's awesome. It's like it's like whoa! It is so intense.
Sign me
Alpengeist has
up.
this cobra roll I mean, I thought I broke my neck, but it's good in a good way. Yeah, it's a great ride. Alpengeist, their B&M invert, Pantheon, of course, and I actually really liked Invader. I think it was a really cool use
Okay.
of space, which I always love to see that. And I loved Verbolten too, of course. But Invader
Okay.
was like, if you look at the plot of land it sits on, you wouldn't think, oh, there could be a roller coaster there. But there is. And I always like when stuff like that happens, budgeting your land well to keep some room open for some big projects in the future. They've done that for sure there.
All right.
Then we went to King's Dominion. King's Dominion was
All right.
great, although we didn't get to ride Pantherion Intimidator 305. It's still closed. It still has not opened this year.
There
So
have there been any guests on the roller coaster, or is it's
not
just dummies,
just a few dummies,
just
but
crash test dummies?
right, they were waiting. They were repainting it and stuff at the beginning of the year, retheme, and then they
Mhm.
started testing it, and then something, I guess, they didn't see what they wanted to see, so they've been doing some extended maintenance, and it's just not quite there yet. So that's okay. We still had some great rides, Tumbili. I love SNS Free Spins. Tumbili was awesome. Twisted Timbers, of course. Grizzly. No one talks about Grizzly enough. Totally caught me off guard. Really, really fun wooden coaster and a really pretty park too. It is weird though if you've been to Kings Island and not Kings Dominion. Kings Island Main Street, International Street is like right in the middle of the park, and then there's like
Mhm.
so a big part of the park on the right, a big part of the park on the left. At Kings Dominion, International Street, the best way to explain it is take Kings Island's layout the same, but move International Street about 200 yards to the south. So just to the right when you're looking at the park.
Okay.
So like a way more of the park is on the left side than on the right side of International Street. It's just kind of a weird thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's just an observation from a Kings Island person. But yeah, super fun. Twisted Timbers is of course awesome, and Raptera, of course, their $30 million new wing coaster, super fun ride. It's yes, just it's a lot like Thunderbird. If you like Thunderbird at Holiday World, you'll like Raptera for sure. It's a good one. The night after we went to Kings Dominion, we had a crazy drive. We drove like all the way to Charlotte, basically, and to prepare to go to Carowinds the next day. We went
Hmm.
to Carowinds. I said this on a short. you may have seen, but there is a kids area that's kind of new for this year at Carowinds. They just expanded their current kids area, some new games and a new roller coaster by Art Engineering. It is so awesome. It blew my mind. Honestly, I just would it I don't know. It just totally took me by surprise. It is so
Hmm.
pretty, so well shaded. All their rides, kids rides, have full air conditioned boxes for their ride operators, which is a great way to keep your ride operators happy and
Yeah.
to keep your ride operators being nice to the kids. So that's huge. It was adorable. They had all these little Charlie Brown guys. It was pretty fun. And then Carowinds is always a blast. Always good to ride Fury 325. Have you been to Carowinds before?
I have not. I we were in Charlotte. I don't remember why because I remember driving past the park, but I don't
Uh
recall what we were in town for, or actually even when it was. But no, we did not make a stop there.
the Carowinds versus Kings Island question is one I'm very interested in. Out of my group, I was the only person who doesn't prefer Kings Island, but I prefer Carowinds. But they're two amazing parks, and they're really similar in some ways, but really different in others. So I think it's an interesting
Was
comparison.
Carowinds part of the original Kings Island group of parks when they opened? Because there were
With
four or
Paramount,
five parks. No,
yeah,
before
it
that with
was.
King's Entertainment
Oh,
Company.
with Taft,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know.
Dominion was, and I believe Australia was,
Really?
and maybe Canada.
Okay,
The
Canada's
one
Wonderland.
Wonderland Australia closed a long time ago, but
Yeah.
maybe back after maybe 2002, I think, maybe 2004,
Wow.
one of those two. So when did Carowinds come along?
I think Carowinds opened in '73, so that would make you think it probably
I'm gonna say
was a
it
part
did.
of that original chain, but
Maybe
let's.
not because Kings Island opened 72, and I think Dominion was the second park in the chain to open, and that was 76. Is that right?
Dominion, I think, was '75, but yeah.
75.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they
That
were
was
separate. I think Carowinds was just independent at the beginning.
okay. And then they of course came along. I don't know when they officially became part of the chain, but they were definitely in there by the time Paramount took over.
Yeah, they became Paramount in '93. So says RCDB 4 seconds ago. So, um, but yes, Carowinds is awesome. It's a really good park, and it is. We've got some great theming to it too, compared to like some of the standard Cedar Fair parks. I think your
Hmm.
King's Dominions or like Dorney Park. It's got some good theming elements to it. After we went to Carowinds, we went to Six Flags Over Georgia, which is one of the better parks in the classical Six Flags, uh, Legacy Six Flags chain. It's an amazing place. I've been a couple times now. I gotta say though, the idea that this Legacy Six Flags parks are they're actually getting helped out by the merger is something I've been
Hmm.
hearing, and it's now something I fully believe. The Six Flags Over Georgia experience I had this time around compared to just 2 years ago was totally different. The effects on Batman the Ride, the fire, the water, the mist, all the things in the line, the lights under the station, they were all working, and that's not something that's super standard for Six Flags parks. They had their new water coaster, which that was admittedly still a part of the Six Flags,
Right.
Legacy Six Flags operational deal, but it's super clean. It feels like a Cedar. It feels like Copperhead Strikes Q. It The operations were improved for the most part around the park. All the rides were running more than one train, except for Superman Ultimate Flight, but I'm sure that was just some maintenance issue. And that's not super standard, once again, across Six Flags in the past. So I don't know if that is the result of the merger or if the leadership there is just doing a great job. But nonetheless, I was really impressed with my day at Six Flags Over Georgia. Things were definitely looking up for that park.
So do you have a top three there?
Oh gosh, they have some great rides. I would say, definitely Twisted Cyclone. Their RMC, super fun. Got an awesome the drop on that ride. It's just like punches you in the face.
I've
Goliath,
heard. I've heard punch in the face. I don't know. I don't know if I went to your same experience. Car wreck.
Yeah, that's like the best
You're
thing
not
a coaster
selling
could
it.
do is
You're not
that good.
selling it.
All right, all right. Well, that's all right. That's all right. Less lines if I don't sell it.
There you go.
The yeah, Goliath, Twisted Cyclone. The third spot is a little bit tough though. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'd probably put in there Superman, Ultimate Flight. You can't go wrong with a
Okay.
B&M Flyer. Those are really fun rides. So, and also the one at
Now
Over Georgia uses the terrain really well.
let me pause you for a second because there's been a lot of you talking about a lot of DC Comics characters with Superman. Now, that's DC, right? Okay, good. My superhero is correct. Now, are we going to see a lot of? Do you think there's going to be some crossover of the DC Comics characters and the theming of the Rise of Six Flags to go over to Legacy Cedar Fair? Do you think that's going to happen? And
I think
conversely,
it's
are the Looney Tunes going to make the jump over, or is Peanuts going to take over and make the jump over?
yeah. I think Looney Tunes is going to be gone. I think they're going to adapt Peanuts across the whole chain. I
Okay.
That's just opinion. We haven't heard anything, of course, but I would be shocked. Looney Tunes is a dying. It's not what it used to be, and they made a new movie like 2 or 3 months ago called like The Day the World Ended, and no one watched it. And like the Peanuts movie when that came out in 2016, it blew up. It was huge. Everyone loved it. So
Yeah.
I I think Charlie Brown is going to win that one. As for the DC,
Which is bizarre. Charlie Brown doesn't usually win much.
no,
So
but
good for him.
Snoopy is going to win it. Let's
For
be
him.
real. It's Snoopy that's
Yeah.
keeping it alive. I think the DC, I'd be surprised if we didn't see it a little bit. Like a merchandising, like why not? Why not sell
Hmm.
some Superman shirts at Kings Island? You'll sell them. I don't think we'll see it really though. I don't think we'll see Superman like DC lands coming to the parks because it would be expensive, and
It
we're
would.
not going to see many new lands or whole big rethemes. And because of that, I do think the Cedar Fair chain's going to say, no, it would be weird if we had just one random coaster that was themed to Superman and not like a surrounding area. So we're just going to, keep with our proprietary stories and so forth. So, but I could be wrong. Honestly, here's my real opinion. Okay. What should happen? Okay. If I ran the world, if I could bend time and space, the contract that Universal has with Disney, after Disney bought Marvel, I'm going to rip it up. I'm gonna make Disney buy out that part of the contract so that Universal has to retheme Marvel Superhero Island. They'll give them like I don't know, $100 million, something like that. Now they have $100 million to go retheme Marvel Superhero Island, and they should buy the rights to DC because Six Flags doesn't pay that much for them, and who cares? So now we have an elite, brand new DC area at Islands of Adventure. Disney has the ability to use Marvel, and then the DC properties get real, like world class theme park rides, not kind of generic roller coasters.
Yeah.
And now we're doing good. Now we're doing good. So that's what I would say.
That might be a pipe dream. I'm not sure that would happen. It sounds
It's
good
a pipe dream
in
for sure.
practice. Now, but when you're talking about Peanuts, Charlie Brown, that's a Paramount property, right? That's a Paramount IP.
Yes,
Or
so
you?
it's owned by Viacom when
Okay.
you peel back the layers, and which
Okay.
so is um forgive me, I'm forgetting the name DC because DC is Warner Brothers, which is also then in turn owned by Viacom. So they're
I didn't know Viacom owned Warner Brothers.
yes, they do.
When did when did that happen?
I think within the last 15 years, but like post 2010. Let's see if we can find out.
Really?
Oh no, I'm wrong. For I've told many people that in my life. I mean, I just made that up. I just hallucinated.
I'm gonna give
Wow,
myself a
how
point for
fantastic! Yeah, as you should. You should get several. I mean, we would have posted out some fake news if you didn't
that.
say that. No, Warner Bros is its own full on media company. Good for them. All right, how fantastic. Well, who knew? Not me. I didn't know. I had no idea. There you go. There you go.
Good thing
So
this is
that
just
is so
dress rehearsal.
interesting, though. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That is so interesting. Both like Warner Bros. Wow, I'm questioning everything now. Warner Bros. Has the rights to Harry Potter, like at the end of like their movie.
Hmm.
So that means they sold, that to the theme park part of that to Universal to use, but also Warner Bros. On Yas Island in the UAE at that park, which is named after Warner Bros. They have the DC characters, so maybe it's that I just had conflated because of that park. I don't know, but regardless, that's good stuff right there.
So who is Captain America?
That's Disney. That's Marvel.
Yes, Disney. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I was going to make some
yeah.
sort of joke about Captain America going to the UK, but yeah, irrelevant. Never mind.
Oh, that would have been so good, though. That would have been so good. Okay, so after we went to Six Flags Over Georgia, we did a really awesome, really really awesome day where we went to Fun Spot, whatever it's
Hmm.
called, Atlanta, Fun Spot America, Atlanta. We were at Air Force One, which is the stupidest ride in the world. I mean, it is so good. It is so incredible, but also it's just like what. I love Fun Spot. I love those parks. Fun Spot Atlanta, if you've never been, it is a little different than the parks in Orlando. The parks in Orlando feel more
Hmm.
like theme parks. Fun Spot Atlanta feels a little more like kind of like a family entertainment center that's like outside.
Yeah.
It's got the go-karting and stuff, and there's a few rides certainly, but not
Mhm.
nearly as many rides as there are in Orlando at the parks there.
Yeah, and that's how the Fun Spot properties began. They began as go kart tracks
Yeah,
and
right.
indoor arcades, and they expanded. Now, do you know what the plans are with the area family as far as the Atlanta property is concerned? Are they looking to expand it? Do you know?
I mean, you wouldn't have spent that money on Air Force One if you weren't, I think, but I don't really know. They have plenty of land there. The park was in good shape. It was the rides were all operating. Everything was operated well, certainly, but it's very bare bones at the end of the day, just because they haven't put a lot of stuff there yet, and that's
Yeah,
okay. But it is weird because for a park that bare bones to have one of the best roller coasters on earth is just so interesting. it's just it is. It's just very interesting. But it was really fun time. The ops there were really great. They were nice to us. They told us about they had 19 birthday parties that day. 19. And we were there before any of them, luckily, but they were like, it's gonna be crazy. So that's pretty exciting. And then we drove from Atlanta to Valdosta. And in Valdosta, we
okay.
went to Wild Adventures. So I got to talk for a second about Wild Adventures because it is so good. Like Hershend, everyone loves Hershend, okay?
Mhm.
But I think that there was for a lot of people when Hershend was just those three parks. It was just Dollywood, Silver Dollar City, and Wild Adventures. Wild Adventures was kind of thought of as like the little brother to Dollywood and Silver Dollar City. It wasn't quite on the same caliber. I had never been, but recently, as a member of the Attractions Group podcast, I was invited to go, and one of the park president from Wild Adventures will be coming on the podcast soon as well to talk
Awesome.
about Wild Adventures and the future thereof and some of the really cool things they do. But I got to go on this trip, and it is so good. It's such a great park. It doesn't have the huge lineup of hyper coasters and gigas and stuff like that. But it does everything a park should do. It's themed well, it's clean, the operators are so nice. Literally, I was blown away. Every single person I talked to was just like super nice, good at their jobs, was moving
Mhm.
quickly, getting dispatches out. I lost my phone when I was there, and they got it back real quick. Everything was top notch professional. There was a ton of shade. There was a great drink plan. I mean, it is a really really great park. It's in a small city. Valdosta only has about 120,000 people, but it was crowded. So you're doing something right when you're in Valdosta, Georgia, and you're bringing in crowds like that.
Hmm.
They do some really cool things. They have a drone show at night that they've been doing all summer. What it's if you're like I used to be a guy who didn't really care about the quality of the park you were going to and just wanted to ride good coasters. Wild Adventures might slip under the radar, but it should not. It is a really good place to go and have fun. That's what a park should be, and they do it really well. They had a program going on where they were giving free admission to all of the teachers in the state of Georgia as a back to school
Wow.
program, which is
Now, let
pretty.
me just say, as the spouse of a teacher, that would
Mm,
speak volumes
yeah,
because the only time that teachers get to go on, teachers and teachers' families get to go on vacation is guess when? Summer, when everybody else is going, when the parks are full and everything's at a premium price.
yeah.
So that would actually speak volumes. That would speak directly because when you want to go somewhere during summer, you want to go to a thing wherever it is, it's more expensive because it's peak season.
Yep.
And guess when the other peak season time is?
Christmas.
Spring break. And
Yeah. Oh, that too.
Christmas,
Yeah.
spring break. Those are all great teachers holidays. Let's charge the teachers more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too bad, but
So
I mean,
anyway,
it's a really great program they do there. We didn't get to see the park to the extent I wanted to be honest, because we didn't get there till about 4:30 probably. We went to Fun Spot the same day, but we stayed till close. We saw the drone show, and I mean, wow, it's a Hirschend park, through and through. It's a great place to be, and I think
mhm.
if if they could get like one coaster, like kind of a new coaster, just to get the coaster enthusiasts there, it would explode. I really think so. Like if people are going to Fun Spot Atlanta just to ride Air Force One, like in the numbers they are, I think like put a little mock launch at Wild Adventures and watch how the park just becomes a literally a nationwide favorite. It's a really cool place. The rest of
It's a great reason to get off the interstate on your way to Florida.
that too, yeah, it is. It really is. They got some billboards going on, and I remember driving past them when I moved down here and seeing them and so forth. It's yes. After the rest of the trip after that was spent in Orlando, or Busch Gardens, Tampa. This pretty standard Orlando experience. A couple days at Disney, a couple days at Universal, but I got to talk a little bit about another full day at Epic Universe. I hadn't been since technical rehearsals, and getting back to Epic now during the real deal was pretty. I mean, wow, it's pretty amazing. Epic is yeah, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you remove the rides from every park in the world, you take the rides away. There's no rides there. And now you go to the park and you say, what's the best of these parks? They don't have any rides. What's other experiences? What's the best park?
Mhm.
To me, there are literally only two options. It is either Epcot or Epic Universe. And it is really, really
Interesting.
difficult to
Yeah.
decide which one is better. I think Epic Universe does so many things so well. They build incredible sets. They build just beautiful, beautiful sets. Like the park is beautiful. The Burke gorgeous. Wizarding Paris
Mhm.
gorgeous. Mario World is surreal. It's insane. And then Dark Universe is like it's just cool. It's just plain cool. I I can't stress enough how gorgeous it is to walk around Epic Universe. The rides at Epic are super fun. A lot of really cool things. The Harry Potter and the Battle with the Ministry. I've finally done it now. It's all that. It deserves the hype. It deserves the 3 hour line. It's amazing. The one thing though that I'm still not on board with is Stardust Racers.
Yeah.
It is just not that good. It's
Oh,
not that good. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Why
don't know.
not?
There's a few reasons. The main one is it's it's hard to explain what I mean by this, but it needs onboard audio. It's like quiet.
Okay.
Like you get on the ride and you're like, what's going on? I can't hear anything. Like it's silent out here. That's a weird phenomenon. That doesn't actually make the ride bad, of course. Lots of rides are like that, but like it's a universal. The ride does not have a great theme. It doesn't have much of a theme at all. I would say like the theming level on Mystic Timbers blows Stardust Racers out of the water, and that's 100% true. It's not. I mean, there's like it's celestial and stuff, but there's no story, there's no theme, there's no characters, there's not much of anything. The queue is outside. It's a great ride. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a mock launch coaster. It's amazing. It feels like it belongs at Dorney Park, not at Epic Universe. Also, I keep hearing people compare it to Velocicoaster, and it's just so puzzling to me. Like, Velocicoaster is my favorite coaster. It's so good. It's amazing. But like, let's take my fifth favorite coaster, like El Toro or Sky Rush. El Toro and Sky Rush are both leagues ahead of Stardust Racers. Like it's not that aggressive. It has some good airtime. It has on the yellow side, the one inversion it has is really good. On the green side, not so much. The racing is cool. It's cool. I mean, it saves the ride. If it didn't have the racing, it would probably not be a top 50 coaster for me. It's just like when we had Ryan and Don on, Ryan was like, everyone right now is deciding what they think the best coaster on earth is, and everyone agrees it's either Stardust Racers or Velocicoaster. I do not agree, and I don't even understand how you could agree. Stardust Racers, I'm just a hater, maybe, but it's bad. It's
I
not
get
a.
it.
It's not good. It's not good.
Don't
I
hold
don't
back,
know.
Clete. How do you really feel?
Yes, right. I'm not holding back. I don't. I got off of it for a ride during the daytime, and my mouth was on the floor because I was like, I cannot believe that is supposed to be a good roller coaster for universal standards.
Is
I
there
can't
a
believe
different
it.
experience at night?
And there is, and I rode it at night, and it is better because the trains are lit up, and so the racing is really cool.
Mhm.
But the track isn't lit up, which is just kind of surprising. Like you don't light up your track on like Hagrid's because you don't want people to see the track. It's painted brown. You're on a flying bike.
Right.
On Stardust, you're on a roller coaster. Like I feel like light the track up, make it look pretty for everyone. Um, but I don't know. I think it is kind of cool to not be able to see the track in front of you, especially on that inversion. So maybe there's some merit to that, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me down below in the comments. I just don't understand why you guys like Stardust Racers. I like mock launches. I like Copperhead. Copperhead Strike at Carowinds, way better than Stardust Racers. It has better airtime. It has better hang time. It has more whip. It's a better ride. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my
I don't
problem
know,
is.
Clete. Universal spent the last couple of years building a park from a swamp area out of the ground to just come up with
Yeah.
this park. Cut them some slack.
Well, that's true. I mean, I want to stress Epic is like maybe the best park in the world, but they just they did not crush it with Stardust Racers. Then the rest of our time in Orlando was pretty standard, but I do want to explore perhaps a little bit about where I am in my mental headspace right now and where I was before we did the Southeast
Okay.
Slammer, and that is like in planning mode.
Now,
You know, where am I going?
now back up
Where
because we talked about in the thing before we started that this is called your East Coast or whatever your Slammer. But I think this is the first time you mentioned it. So how'd you come up with that name, first of all?
so that's a great question. That's a great question. So we always name our trips for whatever reason. You know, I was on a trip called the Midwest Mashup. I was on a trip called uh, I don't know, East Coasters. We called one of them. Some of them we don't name, but we usually name the big ones. And the Southeast, it's in the Southeast. And originally I was calling it the Southeast Swing, but then one of my friends said the word slammer. And since you're going from north to south, it's like a slam dunk. So we had to go for
All
the
right.
slammer. I'm not the namer though, you know. I don't have great alliteration skills like I should. But I do have like 5 days off right before school starts where I'm because of this technical thing at work, I'm unable to work for those 5 days. And so I'm thinking, no school, can't work. I don't know. I might be going somewhere. So that's where I'm. But if I'm in that state, what I will do is I'm going to throw up a map on the screen here. If you are not
All
watching,
right.
it's just a map of all of the parks, well, many of the parks in the United States. It's
My
missing
word.
a few here. We're missing like Wild Waves in Washington, Oaks Park in Oregon, uh, the park at OWA in Alabama. We're missing a few, but for the most part, there's a lot of parks on here. I looked, Lost Island's not on there, but a lot of parks on here.
Yeah.
I think generally you start with like, I want to do one thing. So for the Southeast Slammer, the thing that we knew we wanted to do was ride Intimidator 305. We were like, we're going to King's Dominion to ride I-305 because none of us had done it. And of course, we didn't get to do that. But that's okay. That's okay.
Hmm.
So once we know we're going to get to, you're going to do something like go to King's Dominion, you just start to look around. Well, like what else might be natural, and then you make your trip. So right now, what I'm thinking about in my trip planning is I got to ride Switchback. I got to ride Switchback because it's closing. So if I'm in
That's
Orlando
right.
and I want to ride Switchback, what I would recommend to anybody if you're planning a coaster trip is pick something you really want to do and then think about the logical way to do it. And here's my number one piece of coaster trip planning advice: pick your parks first and then figure out how like what nights you're going to stay at what cities. For example, on the Southeast Slammer, we did back to back to back days, right? Kings Dominion or Busch Gardens Williamsburg, then Kings Dominion, then Carowinds, then Six Flags Over Georgia. And I knew those 4 days that's what we're doing. Then afterwards, I can figure out where to do the hotels. Maybe split it up in the middle, maybe try to do one hotel for 2 nights because that's always a little bit of a cheaper rate. It's also just
Mhm.
less hassle. But I think that's the way to do it. If you try to think about like we'll stay here and then we'll stay there, you're toast. So pick your parks first, figure out your day by day.
Okay.
Hotels, very last thing in my coaster trip planning opinion. I'm thinking I might have to take the 20-hour drive from Orlando to San Antonio though, and go to the park at
Hmm.
OWA, Six Flags Fiesta Texas, SeaWorld San Antonio, and ZDTs. I might chicken out because that's a lot of driving, but I don't know.
They have airports. You
I've heard
could probably
about
help
them.
a flight.
I've heard about those airports things. I could
Yeah.
just fly to San Antonio and stay in a hostel, and then my whole trip would be very cheap. But if I did that, I can't go to the park at OWA. But maybe that's worth it. Maybe I can skip that one. But I don't know. I
You,
don't know.
you
Let me
know,
know. Comments.
you don't have to take your shoes off at the airport. Just saying.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's a huge difference. That might be the difference maker for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Now you're on board.
Now I'm on board. But yeah, I don't know. And when you're by yourself, if you're solo tripping, then flying is always so practical too. Because like, if you have 4 people and you have to buy 4 plane tickets, driving is really appealing. But like, when you just buy one plane ticket versus the same amount of money on gas, it's like maybe
Mhm.
literally more expensive to drive if you have a gas guzzler of a car. So I don't know. I don't know. But I'll plan something for sure for those 5 days.
Well, interesting if you do that. Now, I don't know if we've gotten into this on any of the podcast episodes that we've done before. Maybe we did it early on, but it's certainly not anytime recent. So, one of the things that always struck me about you when you went and did the park by yourself, because we met up with you back in, I don't know, it was November probably, I don't know, early December, something like that last year, and you, of course, you were at the park by yourself, and we happened to meet up, and you kind of hung out with our group there for a little bit, and then you went off on your own. You actually did the same thing at an Orlando Informer event a year or two before that, and it always struck me is very very Clete like what you did when you go to these parks by yourself. Have we talked about that at any time? I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast at all
I don't
about what you do to just striking up conversations with people.
Yeah, I don't know if we have or not, but I do. I just talk to
Just
people. That's like
take a quick dive through that.
okay. Well, I'll say this first of all. When the cattle pin, the structure of line that goes like this, when the cattle pin was invented for theme parks, it was invented
Hmm.
by Walt Disney to make people less bored in line because if they're in a cattle pen instead of in one straight line, they'll be able to talk to each other. They'll see more people face to face, and that will be the thing that keeps them entertained. And as
Interesting.
much as we build immersive cues and we build all these things, and now we're trying to get away from the cattle pen a lot of times because it's like better if you're not in the same room for a long time, which is true. I
Hmm.
think Walt's right. I do. I just think parks are places for people to come together, people to be together, not only families to come together and with each other, but also to meet strangers. I just love it. I mean, that's the thing I love most about parks is the people. I'll ask them all sorts of things, about the trip, about where they're from. If they're in Orlando, they're usually not from Orlando, so that's a benefit.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you're at a park like Kings Island, they're from Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana.
Right.
If I'm out in San Antonio, probably that'll be the people from Texas. But it's really interesting to hear about how the park's changed over the year. Ask people about like, wait, does the park feel like it's better now than it was 5 years ago, or things like that? Why? People love. Why not? Just ask them their opinion. They love to share, and you get
Hmm.
the insight
Yeah.
of somebody who's a local and gets to go there all the time. So I just think it's really a really fun part of getting to go to parks. And like I people often tell me they don't like to go to parks alone, and I understand that. I would not like to go to a park alone either, but I just think it's impossible to go to a park alone. It's you can't. You go there and there's other
Yeah.
people there. You're not alone. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think you go to a park without any members of your group sometime. I bet you'll have more fun than you think because you can just be with other
Hmm.
people.
Very unique. When you said what you did, and when you went in the lines and you talked to people. Now, see, I'm middle aged. Well, I'm middle aged. I'm past middle age. I'm 52. I don't know if I intend to live to 104 or not. But yeah, if I try to strike up a conversation with some random family and I'm there by myself, security's going to be meeting me on the other side. But 20-year-old Clete on the other side, no one thinks a thing about it. So now,
Yeah,
as far
that
as
is
other
true.
parks are concerned, you've been to a number of different parks. I'm pretty sure you've been to this one. Have you been to Stricker's Grove?
Oh, yes, only once, but Strickers Grove is an amazing
Only
place.
once. It is. Are there other parks like that really they have a very? If you're listening to the podcast and you're not familiar with it, Stricker's Grove is literally a small amusement park in the middle of a cornfield on the western side of Cincinnati. It's really only open. And I could be wrong. It's 4 days a year that they're open to the
Plus,
public.
if they get rented out more, but yeah, to the public 4 days a
Right, to
year.
get rented, but it's basically a picnic, like what a lot of the amusement parks started out as a picnic park, and
Yep.
also kind of hosts the Hamilton County Junior Fair, I believe, also. But at the same time, it's a very unique park. Has some classic fair rides and some, but they're permanent structures at the park. They have two roller coasters, I think.
Yep.
Are there a lot of parks like that? Now, I noticed in your map that it didn't have Stricker's Grove. So if there's pure parks in that pure status, they probably aren't aren't on your map either. But is
Yeah.
that common?
And Strickers Grove, there's not places like Strickers Grove. They are not common at all.
Okay.
What you see now, like the modern equivalent of Strickers Grove is like I would say is kind of like your scene 75s. It's like that's
Okay.
something you'll see with a couple of roller coasters, have your Panama Jacks, like what we were talking about with John
Hmm.
Dunlap recently. But especially Sugar's Grove, their calendar is just so weird. Like for a better term, it's just like
But it works for them.
yeah, and that's all that matters. Like I'm glad it works for them. I do think Strickers Grove is helped greatly by the fact that it is on a cornfield. Like the family that owns Strickers Grove, they're farmers, so they get
Hmm.
do some little things with Strickers Grove here and there, but they're farmers first. So yeah, I don't know. It's very strange. I love that place. It is super cool. I wish there were more places like it, but I've never heard of anything of another park with a, a calendar, anything close to
Yeah.
Strickers Grove, like Camden Park in West Virginia and Oaks Park in Portland. those are probably the two facilities that are the most similar. Maybe Seabreeze is kind of like that too, but those parks are all open a heck of a lot more than Strickers
Right.
Grove is.
Now, I will say on August 10th, I want to say it's probably next Sunday. Today's the 3rd. Oh,
Okay.
we're recording here on the
Yep.
3rd. August 10th, I believe it is. We'll put it up in the description. But Ryan and Don, we remember them and their time here on the podcast. They are now doing a thing called Tower Topics. It's a podcast about Kings Island. Basically, it's centered directly on Kings Island. Not that they don't dive into other topics, but it's mostly about Kings Island. Their podcast is called Tower Topics, and they're having a Tower Topics meetup at Strickers Grove next Sunday, the
Oh,
10th.
cool.
Whatever says in the description, that's what it is. I'm going completely off of memory, but so that I intend to probably try to stop out for that. I think I don't really know what's going on next Sunday, but it'll be interesting. They've had a couple different meetups. One at Entertainment Junction in Cincinnati, or I guess Westchester before it closed, and a couple other things that I think they're going to try and start doing some meetups and see how that works.
Cool. Yeah, that's exciting.
Now,
I hope
now
that
here,
goes
here's
well for
some
them.
trivia also
Huh.
in the north, or I'm sorry, Southwest Ohio area, and you may know something more about this than I do, but the theme park landscape in Cincinnati almost got another player in the area with within the last couple of years. Land of Illusion. Are you familiar with them?
I've been, yes. Land of
Now,
Illusion, yeah.
the community of Middletown, and this is going to be all botched up, and someone can correct me here, but I believe it was a nine. They're already they don't have rides per se, but it's mostly a water park during summer, and they have a big Halloween event in the fall. And I believe they have a Christmas
Huge,
drive
yeah.
through, but they were also, and I believe this is accurate. They had a 9-figure expansion on the to plan to build out into somewhat of an amusement park. And this is not a long time ago. I'm from within the last 5 years, and I believe it was voted down by the community they're located in. So it's kind of, I don't know what the whole plan is. Probably there's somewhere online that you can dig that up to see what the plans were. I haven't really tried to do that, but it really would have been interesting if they had succeeded doing that. I'm sure there probably would have been a roller coaster or two included in that, and plus a number of rides, and just a different infrastructure set for what an attraction would be like. It would have been interesting. I mean, we'll never know now, but as far as I think that's accurate. That it was a 9-figure
Oh,
proposal they sent through, and it got voted. I think it got voted down.
$100 million.
Well, uh, I think that's what it was. It was some large, definitely larger number than I have, but I believe that's what it was. Now we'll put in the comments, so maybe fact check me now. Is there a way to do that? Go
Yeah, of course.
on the www and check the thing and see what.
Let's see. I'm so curious. $190 million.
Okay, so it wasn't even 100 million. It was almost 200 million.
And they I cannot even believe this. My mind is exploding right now. Madison Township, they shot it down. $200 million. Where did they get that money?
Well, now look at this. It looks like it's there. This is on an active website. Looks like the Land of Illusion expansion information. Yeah, looks like they're going back for it.
Yeah, they're
Most phase
petitioning
extension.
to they're petitioning to override the initial appeal, but I mean, it got shut down in the spring of 2023.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it would just. I think you do it. I'm sure it would create a bunch of jobs, both in construction and
Oh, yeah.
operations, in leadership, and in you'd have to up the infrastructure around there. Like, but I just does. Yes, I'm on their website now. So it says they were going to do a outdoor adventure area with zip lines, like a ropes course, a canopy walk, nature hiking trail. They were thinking about building a whole family entertainment center, maybe an indoor water park. Oh, and cabins. They were going to do some cabins.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think a
oh,
Jellystone campground. I think also.
$190 million is nearing the amount of money you would need to build a park ground up. Like that's that's some serious dough.
It is, and yeah, well, I guess when you're going to do something like that big of a project, it gets voted down. You're like, okay, well, we tried. Go on with life. It looks like that they're trying to go back at it. I'd love to see
Wow.
how this
That's
plays
that would
out.
be really cool. Me too. Me too. That would be really cool. Really exciting. Well, well. And then I saw in
Wow.
Indiana they're building another place kind of like Land of Illusions, like another one of those water park aqua theme park type
Is that the one
things
in
in
Indianapolis?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
that's cool too. Just to see what goes down there. Maybe they'll become their own theme park too. Indianapolis, they have Indiana Beach and Holiday World very close, but they don't have a true park to themselves. You know, you would think they could
right.
support a little small park, but I don't know. That's an interesting thought experiment, I suppose.
In just from my end this evening, and why we're recording so late, I happened to go to Kings Island, which is our backyard where I live
Mm.
literally, and I happened to go to their Grand Carnival. It was the last night of the Grand Carnival, and I tell you, of the number of things that the Kings Island and Cedar Fair Legacy Parks do that they do really well, and Kings Island's got a couple. And Grand Carnival, they very festive. It's a festival of lights, and just the music and the dancers and the parade, and it's just a great event that they do. Another one that they do that is really well is Winterfest, and they do Halloween Haunt. They actually have the Conjuring House this year. That just is terrifying. I'll put me down as one that'll skip that one. But no, that came from there tonight. We wanted to go see the last night of the parade that they had. It was a great experience, and it's something that I think was that the floats for this parade were actually King's Dominion early in their summer. I believe that's where they came from. And actually, as you
Yeah.
to all the Six Flags parks that you hit on the East Coast, did Grand Carnival, did that go from the Cedar Fair Legacy Parks? Did any Six Flags parks get that?
Not
I know
yet.
they
We haven't seen that happen yet.
okay.
Yeah. I expect them to, for sure, at some point, but we'll have to see.
Well, it'll be
I've
a whole
only
new
ever seen
experience.
yeah, right.
It's
They've
been an
never seen
experience
it.
that the
That would be
Cedar Fair
great.
parks have had for a number of years, and it would be something brand new for the Six Flags fan base.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen one parade at a Six Flags park, and it was a it left some things to be desired. It was at Magic Mountain. It was like pretty small, pretty bare bones, pretty the music, but there wasn't like dancers. There was just like a few superheroes on there, and it was a little thing, and it was cool. I mean, it's it is always better to provide something to do than not to provide something to do.
Mhm.
And I think that gets lost sometimes. Like I'd rather see a pretty small parade with just a few characters and not much else than to not see a parade. Why not? But you know, I also love to see a great Grand Carnival or Disney Starlight, which is of course exploding the whole world down here right now. But yes, yes. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll let everybody
Okay.
leave. I tomorrow or today, if you're watching this today, I have a full day tomorrow where I don't have anything to do. So today, if you're watching this when the day comes out, and so I have an idea, and this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I have, as a form of redemption, we were waiting in line. We got some of these like one-time express passes at Universal. Tomorrow, I am going to try to ride every water ride in Orlando in one day. I'm just going to
Oh
get
my.
fully wet. Because I'm always like, I don't want to ride this. I don't want to get too wet. And like Tiana's, you don't get that wet on, so I'll always ride that. But like something like Popeyes or Cali River Rapids, you're cooked. So tomorrow I'll wear some waterproof clothes and I'm just gonna ride them. My goal will be Popeyes at Islands of Adventure, Jurassic Park River Adventure, Dudley Do Right's Ripsaw Falls. I should ride Fire Drill at Epic Universe, but I would have to buy a 1-day Epic ticket, so I'm obviously not doing that. Infinity Falls at SeaWorld, Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld, and then also Kali River Rapids at Animal
All in one
Kingdom
day.
and Tiana's. I think I can do it all in 1 day. And Tiana's at Magic Kingdom.
I think you need to shoot some video and do a trip report, and I think we should look forward to seeing some YouTube shorts. Sort.
Yes, I'll post it if I complete it, or if I don't, I will post the short today, to like Monday or Tuesday of this week, and let everybody know if I was successful. I think I can do it because I have the expresses at Universal. So I have 2 of them. So I'll get to Universal at Rope Drop, and then go
That's
straight to
sweet.
SeaWorld, then go straight to Magic Kingdom. I think I got it.
It definitely
We'll see. It's good.
challenge.
Yes. Yes. It'll be very wet too. I mean, it's going to be very uncomfortable
Yes.
at those 3rd and 4th parks, but you win some, you lose some.
Well, Clete, we got a couple more weeks to go, and maybe just the 2 of us for the next couple weeks before we launch into what will be our season number 5. And looking forward to that. We got, honestly, and I'm just going to take a moment to say, through the fall of 2025, we have guests just about every week leading up to December. December's kind of a wild card, so who knows if we want to fill that out or just leave it go because it is December and there's, we could be dealing with the same kind of listenership we had in mid-July this year. So who knows? Who knows what that is going to be? The landscape is going to look like then. But we also have a handful of people that are on the docket for 2026 as soon as we hit into January. And very much looking forward to our series in September. What's it called, Clete?
Behind the Scare.
Yes. We're looking at getting 12 interviews. If you haven't heard this before, 12 interviews to post 3 times a week, in addition to the podcast that we do here. We'll be really busy. But of the 12 interviews that we want to do, I think we've got, we'll say 8.5 of those already filled. So I hope to get those filled out. And if they don't, not nine interviews is still a lot more than I don't know. 12 is the kind of number we pull arbitrarily. I don't know if that's something that is realistic or not. But I'm looking forward to it. We have, I don't know if we go and say who we have yet or not. But we got some really, really cool interviews lined up.
Yeah, we've got a star-studded fall in general, I feel like. So
Yes.
I'm excited.
Very cool. Looking forward to season 5. Which, by the way, speaking of season 5s, The Simpsons, season 5 is probably their best.
Really?
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Oh yeah, that's back. Conan O'Brien was writing scripts, and before they really started to feel like they had to bring stars from other whatever to keep ratings up. But that said, they have, what are they on, season 35 now?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Season 5 is my favorite.
Season 5. That's an interesting one. Season 5, my favorite TV show, New Girl. Season 4 is the best.
Okay.
So I think that's 4, 5. 5's really good. Season 5 of Parks and Rec might be the best season. I think that's always a good range because it's a good sign if you've got to 5 seasons. That's a good sign. So I don't know. Power Rangers, if you think about it just as like the different shows as different seasons, like Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy is the best season of Power Rangers. So season 5, it could be a whole theory. Could be.
All right. Well, hey, Clete, take us out of here.
All right. Well, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You're not going to want to miss any of the things we've got going on this fall. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. And we'll see you back here soon. Hopefully, I will successfully. You'll see me on my YouTube short tomorrow. Have successfully ridden all of the water rides in Orlando, but I don't know. We'll see.
Before we record next week, are we going to know whether or not you made it to ZDTs?
I don't. I'm not. It wouldn't be for 2 weeks that I would be going. I'm not going this week.
2 weeks. All right.
So
All right.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. It's still just a thought experiment right now. But thanks for
All
checking in,
right.
and we'll see you back here real soon.
All right.